Hey, I'm letting people in and we'll get started right on time.
Sounds good.
I was playing some music from we're with the Blessed Life group with Keller Williams Realty, and we have our own playlist called
Oh, nice.
Our House Music. And we have little Bluetooth speakers with our logos on them. If anybody wants one, let me know. We'll get one delivered to you. So you
That's
can play
awesome.
this music. It's a good playlist. I put it together. I really like it.
I would love that, Laura.
Absolutely. We will get you one.
Thanks, hon.
Okay, let me make a list. Got some Bob Schneider on there. He's a local favorite. Ed Sheeran, Bruce Springsteen. It's a good list. So I hope y'all enjoy it.
Nice.
The link is in the chat if you want it. And let me see if I've let everyone in who's joined us on time. Okay. Admit all. Wonderful. All right. Okay. Well, we will get started. It is 6 o'clock, and I respect your time, and I am so thankful that everyone is here and as interested in this subject as I am. My name is Laura Ivy Blessing. I am with the Blessed Life Group with Keller Williams Realty here in Austin, Texas, and all the Austin metro area. Joining us today is Samuel Lyles. He is with Home Tax Shield. Now, this is the 13th year I've done this type of seminar webinar, Samuel.
Oh,
And
wow. Okay.
yeah, and I learn something new every year. And this is the first year I've done it with you. And I'll tell you, the company that I did it the first 10 years with is now too busy to do these. And actually, they haven't saved me money in the last 3 years. So
Oh, dang.
I am always looking to learn, looking to help everyone I know learn about this as well. And so with that, I'm impressed with your site. I've been sending everyone I can an estimate of what they can save. I think that's such a cool feature. So I know you're going to provide us with a link, and he's going to give you a link today if you decide to work with him, where I can kind of track all the money that everyone, if you decide to work with him, saves, right? But you're also going to teach us how to do this on our own if we want to do that on our own, which I have done that as well. So
I don't know if I would say I'm going to teach you how to do it. I will tell you some of the perils of
uh,
doing it.
I have learned some of that as well. You guys have
Yeah.
advantages and access to information that we don't have, that is
Yeah.
supposed to be public, but that gives you quite an advantage on being able to save us the most. So I think that's pretty cool. But we are here to learn. And so, Samuel, I will let you take it away, and I will watch the chat, and I'll keep letting people in. And when questions come up, I'll let you know.
Okay.
And take it away. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Laura. Did you make me host so I can share my screen?
Oh, I have not done that. Let me do that right now.
Wonderful.
Make you a host. Okay. You think I do this all the time. All right. I should be like a Zoom expert.
After COVID, we all should.
I can allow you to share a screen. So I've got that done.
Okay, let's see, make sure it works.
Okay.
Can y'all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. Let's get started. So, as Laura said, my name is Samuel Lyles. I am the Director of Business Development for Home Tax Shield. How our company came about was one of the founders, he was a tax agent himself. And what he realizes there's this huge gap in the residential side of protesting property taxes where you can't have a company that can do it profitably unless you essentially take some unethical turns to make sure you can get a profit. And when looking at it, the solution was build something that can scale up, keep the overhead costs really low. And that's where Home Tax Shield came about, is actually started off as software. And what it does is we build computers. We keep adding people to the team, but half of our team is just IT people. And so we build a computer for every single county that we're in. We are in about 50 counties now. We added some this year, and every year we'll probably keep adding them as long as they can provide us data. But what happens is that computer, it runs 24/7 against the CAD, the county appraisal district, and it's taking information from them, because what the CADs do when they're doing property taxes is they're using an algorithm. So it's going to be very arbitrary. They're not going to show up at your home and you'll walk through it. And then if you've ever protested, they might not even look at pictures of it. So what we did, we reverse engineered their algorithm. So we're taking their data and we're using it against them. And what that does, it comes in with a grid. There's actually a lot of math that comes into it. But we get that grid to our tax agents, and they do what they love to do, what they do best, and they argue throughout the entire process. So even though we use artificial intelligence and data science, when it comes to the actual protest, we have boots on the ground. We hire local agents, and because we're taking all the work away from them that they don't like to do, because the data part is the boring part, we've been able to get the most trusted agents in Texas so far. And it's been a great relationship, and we've got some really great results. So I'm going to start walking you through this. I know it's 6 o'clock, so I'm not going to go too in depth and keep you here very long. It's only a few slides. But if you do have questions, I know you're going to chat in. So Laura, feel free to interrupt me as I go through it if you need to.
Awesome. We have a quick question now. Are you only in Texas?
We are only in Texas.
Okay.
So there's 85% of Texans don't protest. And so we're trying to solve that problem before we move. We've looked at different states, but right now we're just focused on Texas because there's so much out there. And almost all the employees live in Texas. So keeping it local makes sense for now.
Yeah. And we have one of the highest tax rates, right, in the nation.
Yeah, we're number 3 or 4. That's why we looked at the top ones as well. But I didn't feel like moving to New Jersey anytime soon. So yeah, we're gonna stick with Texas at least for the next few years. But the mission with Home Tax Shield was make sure every homeowner pays their fair portion of taxes. And so when our agents go in, of course, they're fighting to get as low as possible. But that's actually how you find what is going to be fair. And so our agents have an 83% success rate. So they're almost always going to be successful. But there are homes that are going to be actual fair value, and maybe they're even undervalued. So there are those out there, but the only way to find that out is actually by protesting. And typically how we work is it's a $30 sign-up cost and a 30% success fee. What's unique about our success fees is it's actual money going back into your pocket. So a lot of companies will phrase it differently so that they can make more money, but we don't believe that's ethical. So if you're not saving actual cash into your pocket, we're not going to charge you any success fees. And I know Laura's a realtor here. I don't know if there's other realtors, but since she's doing this for you, which is awesome, she's going above and beyond what most realtors will do. She will get a link that she can share with you, and she will give you a 50% discount on the sign up if you follow her link, which I'll get you set up with that. I don't know if you have it yet or not.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to say, company I was using the last 3 years, they charged me like $250, even though they didn't do anything. So a $30 fee is very nice. I like that. Yeah.
So since we use computers and artificial intelligence, we're 40% below market average. There are some companies out there that are throwing around some really low numbers. There's only one that's been lower than us that I've seen so far, but they don't actually protest every property, and which is kind of wild. But if you sign up with them, if they're not going to make money off of it, they don't think they can, they won't even protest it. and I still don't know how that's legal, but with us, we don't discriminate against any values. Some of the other firms will do that as well because there's just not that much money per protest. But since we use technology and we can scale up to as many homes as we need, like all of Texas could sign up with us and would still be okay. So we want to make sure that our prices stay low and that as you're going to see, that it's fair charging and that we're going to be very transparent with it because honestly, no one understands property taxes. I've been with Home Tax for about a year and a half, and I still learn something new almost every single day. So the key dates, so already passed January 31st is when you had to pay your 2023 taxes. April 1st through 15th is when you should be getting notices of your value. And then May 15th is going to be the deadline to protest. After May 15th, and it is a hard deadline, so make sure that you get it ahead of time. Over the summer is when we'll be doing the protesting. When you sign up with us, you can actually log in and you can see what stage your protest is at. And then in November, the county mails the property tax bills. So with this business, it's very date driven. So 90% of our business comes in April and May. So 45 days out of the year, this is when it just gets crazy for us. And besides, protesting to save money, make sure you're paying the right value. You should be protesting every single year as well. So if you look at this picture, you can see Peter. He never protests, and so he didn't save any money. He gave all his money to the government, and this is based on a $500,000 home. John protests, and so he got $2,500. Not too bad. That was just 1 year. And then Jen's been protesting every year, keeping her value lower. So she's saving over $7,000. And the question I like to ask is, if you had $7,000, would you rather take a vacation or just give it to the government? Because if you're not protesting, essentially you're giving money to the government. And one of the tricky things, and I don't want to get too far into the weeds, is there's a lot of different values out there. So some people think protesting will hurt their market value, which is not true because it's a separate value. But if you look down at the bottom, the tax appraised value, that is what you're actually protesting. So it doesn't affect your market value whatsoever. If a lot of realtors will even look at it to see the taxes because a home is more attractive if you're paying less taxes. So you can still sell your home for the same amount, but you're going to be saving money every year if you're protesting. And this is just a drop down of how it works. If you've ever wondered just the process for it. So here you can see there's on our grids that our agents have, we have an equity value and a sales value. They choose whichever one is a better argument, and that's what they take to the CAD to protest. And so then you can see the county appraised it at 560. They protested. They got a reduction of $60,000. Now they had a homestead. And if any of you do not have a homestead, I highly recommend it. It's going to save you a lot of money going forward. And now we have that $100,000 credit after Prop 4. And so it ends up at a county assessed value of $4,000, and it's our $400,000, and it's $8,000 taxes in taxes a year. So you can see it ended up being $160,000 difference because they protested and because they had the homestead exemption. And with the homestead,
I was going to add too, like I had someone not know about the over 65 exemption as well recently. And I'm like, that's another huge one. And vets, disabled vets have access to exemptions. And so if you have any questions about that, you can reach out after. Let's make sure you know about all of those.
Yeah, the homestead is, I would say it's the most important one. And I will, whenever I bought my home, that my lender actually told me about it. And he was very matter of fact, like, you have to do this as soon as you can. And I'll always go back to him and use him just for that reason, because he's saved me so much money over the years with my homestead. Now, if you've ever protested like a professional, there's a lot that goes into it. I'm a lawyer by trade, and the first time I protested, I didn't. Home Tax Shield actually wasn't even around yet. This is only our 4th year. I took my evidence. I argued like a lawyer. I did get a reduction, but and then doing the protest, they didn't even look at my evidence. They don't care because they have their algorithm of 40 to 50 different items. Like I said, there's math involved. And if I'm not bringing something that matches up with them, they don't have to consider it. So I've had a lot of lawyer friends who are bringing just binders and binders of evidence, and the CAD refuses to open them because they have their own system, and Home Tax Shield's the only one who's been able to reverse engineer that algorithm and use it against them. And one of the wild things, even though we're doing that, they do appreciate it, and it makes the protest easier because essentially our agents and the county are talking the same language. So it allows them to get through the items without, unnecessary argument. So most important is you have to protest before May 15th. You're going to want to get sales data. You're going to want to get county data as well. Both of those need to be adjusted. I might touch on this in a second, but if you've used CMAs, comparative market analysis, take the homes around your neighborhood, that actually can hurt you because you would be using essentially sales data. And there's been some legal battles about the counties getting that information, and they're not supposed to, and there's lawsuits pending. But you want to be careful because if you take the wrong numbers in there, it could actually support higher taxes. So that's why, even for me, I don't even go and protest. I let our agents do it. They're the professionals. They know what they're doing, and they always are able to get good results.
Hey, Sam, we do have a
Mhm.
question because that's a common fear that comes up is like can the value be increased?
No. So when you protest, your value cannot be increased. And I have had some clients ask and say, hey, the county actually messed up on my assessment and it's way lower than it's supposed to be. So I'm not going to protest and basically hide and hope they don't catch it. The problem is they are going to catch their mistake, and then you're going to get that increase, and you're not going to have protested it, so it's going to be through the roof. And there is, if we're dealing with the government, last year we had someone, the county made a mistake, but because our computers were scraping the data from that county 24/7, we actually corrected them and saved them $6,000 on his tax bill because they had a clerical error. But with our systems, it's constantly checking. And we launched it this year. We do have a package where you can even have home warranty. It's not exactly protection, but monitoring, since that's become a huge issue of people stealing people's titles lately. I used to be a prosecutor in San Antonio, and it is extremely easy to steal someone's title. I don't know why someone hasn't done something about that, but right now it is very easy. So you're going to want to use photos, appraisals, closing statements, repairs. That's what you'd want to bring, but they're typically not going to help. And any cost of repairs that's not over $10,000, they're likely not going to consider it. So if you have, you need something painted, even if your AC doesn't work, which should be a great argument here in Texas, the county doesn't have to actually consider that. So you're going to need to schedule your hearing. You're going to have to do the informal hearing, the formal hearing, and then you might have to even go to arbitration if you need to. It's going to take between 6 to 12 hours to do this properly, and you're looking at a 2 to 3 month process of dealing with the county. For us, it takes 2 minutes to sign up. You can upload on your page. You can upload photos, closing statements, whatever you think is important to the agent, and they will look at that. But of course, you don't have to. You sign up, sit back, and our agents will take great care of you. And so when we're talking about the CMAs, if you look at this is what we call a grid. What you're seeing is all those adjustments at the bottom. That's all the math that has to be done. So if you're bringing sales data that has not been adjusted, you could end up hurting your argument and losing out on a reduction. And with the homestead, like I said, this is very important. And as of 2024, you start out with $100,000 credit. The second year, which would be your first full year of owning that home, same thing. You're not going to have a cap, but you're going to get that credit. And then the second full year, you get the credit and you get a 10% cap on the increase. So eventually your homestead is going to run out. But when you get that 10% cap, it will protect your value for a few years, but you still need to make sure you're protesting because you still want to make sure the value is as low as possible. But if your homestead does save you the money and our protest doesn't, we don't charge for that. The only thing we consider success is if we put money back in your pocket ourselves. And you mentioned the over 65 exemption. It's definitely an important one. Everyone talks about the freeze on it. The one thing you want to know is the freeze is only on school taxes. So even when you're over 65, you still need to be protesting. There's going to be less benefit, but you're still going to be able to get it because there's still going to be other entities that are taxing you. And then, of course, whenever you go to sell it or give it away, something like that, whoever inherits it, you want to make sure that their taxes aren't astronomical.
Got that.
And the 9 property tax myths, we get most of this from just talking to customers over the years. So we talked about the CMA. It's not a good idea. My neighbor's value is lower, so mine should be lowered. That's not always going to be true. What I will say is, in your neighborhood, I would highly encourage everyone to protest. They don't even have to use home tax shield. They can do it themselves. But the more people that protest in the neighborhood, the better results all those neighbors are going to get. So I actually took out a ad in our local magazine here to make sure that everyone is protesting who's interested in it, because if they're not protesting, that's going to hurt my home value and I'm going to have to pay more taxes for it. My house, like I said, needs new paint or AC. Not always going to lower your taxes. My county value is less than what I can sell it for, so I don't need a protest. Again, those are 2 different values. You have an exemption, so I don't need a protest. Cover that. Protesting hurts local schools, police, fire, etc. Prop 4, the whole reason for it is because there was a surplus. That is going to be replacing any money you save on taxes. But we do expect to see a pushback from those entities and actually increase their rate to try to balance out the lower taxes. Again, protesting will not hurt your resale value. It won't ever raise your value if you protest. And then protesting is easy. Just file an e-protest. It's easy to get signed up, but to actually get a reduction we covered, it's going to take a lot of work.
Yeah, I have done it myself. We have a few questions. What if you've already scheduled your meeting to protest? Like someone has it scheduled on 4/24. What advice do you have for them?
I was actually just talking about that with my CEO. So they're not supposed to be scheduling anybody, but some of our agents are getting notices to appear before the county hasn't even released the data. So you can't properly protest, and our agents are going to until we have the data. They're literally just the ones who do, they're going in and guessing. And if you have, and the deadline's May 15th, and so if you hire someone, that will always supersede either yourself as the protester or the other company that you used before.
Okay, so they can reach out to you if they want to hire you and just make sure that you're taking over their case.
Right, yeah, so they just go to hometaxshield.com. Takes 2 minutes, they sign up. We have live agents that are available to chat. You even can catch my CEO on there quite often. But we make sure when it comes tax season that we have plenty of staff to answer questions.
That's great. We have another question. Do you have a recommendation for a company that is in California that's like yours?
There's really no company like ours. You can always go with the Ryans or O'Connors because they're nationwide. But I honestly am not sure about who does well in California.
Okay, got it. So you were saying, let's say if you did want to protest yourself, and I see what you say about the CMA, which by the way, we actually do have a CMA program that does deductions. I pay extra for it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so we have a good one if anybody wants help with that. Yet I hire this company because I have done it myself, and it is a pain to go do this. And one of the big advantages I heard that you have that and other companies like yours have is that you know which homes are being decreased and we don't. Even though it's supposed to be public information and we're supposed to have access to that, we don't. So you're able to use that information to help get these assessments lower. Is that
Right.
correct?
Our agents are going to have information that just no one else can have access to. So the county does have to share some data with you, whether they actually do or not. It's the county, but yeah, there's going to be an absolute advantage of using a professional.
Got it. Yeah, I agree. And do you give a discount for multiple properties?
We don't. It would depend on what multiple means. But if when they sign up through your link, it doesn't matter how many homes they sign up, they're going to get that first year 50% discount. If
Okay.
someone has over 100 homes, give me a call and we can talk. Usually, when you get that threshold, we might be able to be flexible.
Got it. Okay, sounds good. Um, let me see what other questions we have on here. Oh, if somebody already did the little protest online button, they have where you can click that button and see what they'll give you. Are they, out of luck now, or
On the Travis County CAD,
they are, I don't see that it was, I think they offer that with Williamson County.
Williamson. So it won't be too late. And you actually mentioned this earlier. When you do check out with us, we give you an estimated, essentially an estimated bill. Like I said, we like to be transparent. It's very, very conservative because we're never going to overpromise. But we do show you can see the actual structure of how the charging works. And you mentioned do it yourself. It sounds like you're paying to get proper CMAs. There are firms out there that will provide you evidence packets. They have systems where they can scrape the data. I've met with a lot of them. A lot of them have tried to sell to us, and their systems just don't match up to ours. And ironically, it's actually more expensive to do it yourself with them with the proper evidence than it is to have a professional do it for you with us.
Yeah, I remember from years past, when it was like 13 years of doing this, you can actually submit and ask for an evidence packet from the county, right? And you should do
Right.
that before you protest to see more details on the comps that they're using, because their convoluted system is so hard to understand with the way they rate the properties and grade them to
Right.
be able to get the value down. I know I've tried to figure it out to you. It is impossible. I wanted people to know that, like, do ask the county for their evidence if you're going to do this yourself. And I didn't know there were companies
Absolutely.
that offered evidence packets to help. That's cool. Good to know. Someone's asking if about a homestead exemption expiring at some point. I don't know that they expire. If you change ownership or remove an owner, they can remove it.
Right.
But you can go back. I know I had someone here last year on our webinar, and they got like $6,000 because they realized their homestead exemption was not accepted, and they were able to go back and get some of that money back that they had lost.
Right.
So you may have to reapply if you lose it or change ownership or something happens to someone on the deed that's no longer on the deed. So keep that in mind.
Right. Yeah, and it doesn't ever expire, like you said. And you mentioned you can go back and ask the county to retroactively put the homestead 2 years, and that's why you would be getting money. I've heard differing stories depending on different counties, but if that's your case, it can't hurt to ask. But with the homestead and the cap, the idea of it not expiring, but at some point the taxes are going to exceed what that homestead is saving you, and then you're going to be right back to not having the full protection.
Right. Okay. Somebody is asking if taxes reduced 5,000, the fee is, maybe we should show like a sample of what your site looks like when you go on and do it.
Yeah, let me do this.
Yeah.
I can share screen.
I was like, I could do it too.
I think I have my other deck pulled up.
Do you want me to do it real quick?
Yeah,
I'll
sure,
share.
go for it.
So this is their website. And for a lot of you, some of you were on Nextdoor and I didn't get to send you an estimate, but well, you can go in and enter your address. This is where I live. Don't stalk me, okay? Um, and I love this. We've been sending this to everyone in our database that we know just to let them know what they could save. This is quite a bit of savings for me this year. And our neighborhood went pretty high. But you can see they have the 30% fee in there of what they saved me and the $30 fee. So hopefully that
Right,
answers the question of the person who was asking that. I think it was Kay.
right.
So
And that's going to be our conservative estimate. And then when you click sign up, you don't have to re-enter your information. Our computer is pulling it from the CAD, so all your property information is already going to be ready for you.
got it. Perfect. Um, let me see. This is something about the online protest button again from Brian that the county likes to throw out the high and low and do the average when they look at the evidence you provided. So can you do that with this company protest data?
You
They
lost
don't,
me
I
a
don't
little
think
bit
they,
there. What do you mean?
yeah, Brian, I don't think they specifically provide protest data, but we can help you if you want to go that route. I still think this is the better
Yeah.
way to go.
Yeah. Hey,
Brian, yeah, jump on and ask your
yeah,
question.
sorry. I'm at the gym, so
Okay,
sorry about that.
glad
No,
you're
it's
here.
like whenever we protested last time, like in Bell County, what they did is, they pulled theirs, like the live in-person protest, they pulled more information than what they already had. And then they looked at what we had, and then they go, we're going to throw out your high, and we're going to throw out your low. We're just going to use the ones in the middle to do that. And then they determine that as the estimate. How does it work with yours? I get you've got an algorithm that's going through and doing everything. Like, do you do multiples and then toss them out so you get to more of a better, more defensible approach?
Yeah, so I couldn't hear all of what you said, so hopefully this answers your question. But
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna try to.
no, no, you're good.
I
You
think
got to
I
stay
got
healthy,
it,
right?
Brian. Yeah.
And so you can get information or evidence from the county, but remember that's essentially the enemy giving you the evidence. With ours, our algorithm generates those grids that I showed earlier, and that goes to our agent. If there's evidence uploaded by the homeowner, they take that as well, and they determine which is going to be the best argument to make to get the lowest value, and that's what they're going to go after. So there's not really gamesmanship. It's, how much can we really save this person?
Yeah. And from doing these for 13 years, Brian, I have heard it's not in your benefit to use the button, that you are going to save more either if you go yourself or hire a company. That's just something that they're putting in there to take some files off their desk. So
Yeah, so there's actually because the taxes have been so ridiculous, and there are companies out there that are pretty large and expanding. The counties are getting overrun with protests, and that's the idea where you can click a button and get rid of somebody and save themselves time. I don't know which county everyone's in, but I believe Travis, Harris, Bear, Dallas, maybe even Tarrant, the heads of the county appraisal district all stepped down after Prop 4 because they didn't want to deal with it.
got it. And we have a question. Do you do, someone has their house, but they're also asking if you do undeveloped property or land?
We do it all, even commercial. We're
Great.
focused on residential, but yeah, we have some properties that are just land. And I remember seeing one for which county was it? I think it was McLennan County. It was like $10,000 empty lot. We protested it. Like I said, we don't discriminate. If you sign up with it, we're going to protest.
I think that's great because we have a question like, how often should you do this? And I have always heard you should do it every year. You need to set the precedent that you're going to be there every year to protest it, to keep it lower. And I have clients that are worried, when they decide to sell their house, if that value is low or the buyer is going to think it's that value. And I can tell you there is not an agent around here that's doing business that thinks a home is going to sell for the assessed value. It is
Right.
in your interest to keep that amount low and to apply for all your exemptions.
Oh, it's absolutely a selling point.
Mm-hmm. Now, did I get everyone's questions? Is there someone like like to come on and ask theirs if I missed it? I've been trying to keep up with the chat here. I see one. Onwell just got booted from BBB for not filing each protest they take. That's sad. I had not heard that. And it's interesting because I was sending people to a company and they were turning people away. And that was frustrating for a lot of my clients. And besides, they didn't save me anything the last 3 years and charged me too much. But
And that I mentioned it earlier. That's I'm not going to name any names, but with when you're operating on a percentage basis, a lot of them will look at it, and if they're not going to make money, they're not going to protest it. And I've had companies actually tell me that where I ran into them at conferences. So it is out there. So if you don't go with Home Tax Shield, make sure you do your homework to get someone who you can trust.
That's great advice. We have a question that just, over the last 2 years, the values have gone up so high. Have we seen that everywhere? And I had a question. I wanted to be reminded what comps did they use? Because we did have a decrease in our market. It was 8% average in Austin in 2023 from 2022. It was actually closer to 10% in Cedar Park, where a lot of people I know are. So if someone was going to do it themselves, what comps are the appraisers going back to and counting for their value?
In regards to the year?
Right. So January 1st is the date of the assessment. It's what your house is on January 1st, right?
Right.
They're going to use homes, how, values or sales that they have or things, how far back. I heard it was like 18 months, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure they have a limit. Typically, you're going to be arguing the current data. If you follow us on socials, you can see we're releasing. The counties are coming out with their information. We're actually taking the data from them and getting averages of each county and how they're increasing. Last year, Travis total, I want to say they were around an increase of 1%. They were one of the lowest. Williamson decreased, but we were still able to get reductions even when values decreased. So it doesn't matter if it's going down or up. You're still going to want to protest, because if you're thinking, okay, well, it only went up 1%, that's no big deal. But what if it should have gone down 10%? Like, the only way to find that out is to protest.
Got that. Greatness. Okay, I wanted to give anyone else, we're almost kind of up with our time here. Oh, wait, I got another one.
It would not make your taxes higher.
Yeah.
Correct.
You have it's kind of a law where you have like a fair chance to go in and ask, and they cannot increase it, unless it's like some type of mistake or something. So like you said that example, I mean, if you have a super low value, do you want to go in and do it yourself?
No, you still want to have a professional protest.
Yeah, I've always had a professional. Like I said, I've done it myself. Real quick, anyone want to come on and ask their question? If I didn't ask your question, and if you don't want to come on, you can send it to me when I send you the recording, and I'll help you get it answered and work with Samuel. I will also send you a link, because this can be a test. This is the first year I'm going to be signing up my home and 2 rental properties I have. So I will, as a group, be able to see kind of what we saved, I believe, and report back to everyone. So I think that's a really cool thing to be able to kind of group us in that way, and to be able to promote your company and grow that for you. So thank you. That'll be neat. And thank you for the discount for the first year.
Of course. Yeah. I saw some questions in there about how to sign up. Laura's going to send you a link that will have a 50% sign up discount. Because you could just go into hometaxshield.com and sign up right now if you want. And that's totally fine. But I would suggest going with Laura. She'll be able to actually monitor your property and her portfolio as well. And you'll get that first year discount when you sign up through her.
Yes, and it is very fast to sign up. I've already signed up 1 property. It took no time at all. Love that. And I was going to say, if you do want to do it yourself, I'm still here and happy to help you, but I will not go with you. So just letting you know, we'll give you data, go do it yourself, wear your like superhero costume. But I really do think that these guys have the advantage to get us the most money and save us the most money. And Samuel, thank you so much for being here and teaching us about this. I will follow up and let you know if we get any other questions. And with that, we'll let everyone go eat dinner.
Hi,
All
hi,
right, thanks for
Laura.
having me.
Hello.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, we may have one more.
Yeah.
Tom,
I sent you the question,
Oh,
dear,
you
yesterday.
did.
Okay.
Yours was you're right, you did. Thank you, sir. And it was, I don't have you programmed in my phone yet.
It
It was
was the structure or improvement, market
Yeah.
value from
Thank-
23 to 24. But I don't change any structure.
Yeah, he was confused as to why on his assessment the structural value went up when he didn't change anything with the structure improvement.
Right. So what the county does, they'll do land value and structure value, and they kind of flip flop on which one they're going to hold tight and which one they're going to increase. I mean, you do, especially with the buildings, you want to be careful because if they have, like actually one of my friends has a garage that she was paying taxes on that actually isn't her garage. In that case, you have to actually contact the county and make sure they take that off. But another friend of mine here in San Antonio, well, over in the hill country, he had a vacant land. He started building a house, didn't have roof or walls up yet, just some sort of structure. And the county actually flew a drone over his property and assessed it at a full blown house. So that's why when counties are doing this, it's very arbitrary. So that's why you want someone, who knows what they're doing to take a good look at it.
Yeah, because
Okay.
they don't go inside your house.
Nope.
Yeah. And most of the time, I find the county has the square footage wrong.
Mhm.
So if you wanted to really check something, it's kind of sad when I go to a listing appointment and I'm like, this house seems smaller than what it is. And I pay an appraiser like $150 and measure it, and it's like 200 square feet longer or smaller, and they could have been saving that money in taxes all along when they lived in it. So if anything, if you want help getting your house measured to check that, we'd be happy to pass on that info. That's one way that
Yeah,
you
and once those are difficult, but once you do that, you can upload it to your portal with us, and then our agent would be able to get it corrected. But yeah, you have to get an actual survey done.
Yes. Tom, did you get your question answered?
Yeah, but I have one more question. Like, for example, if the square feet of the house is wrong,
Mhm.
so do I need to have the appraisal to measure it, or I just go to tell the county or say your the square feet you put it in wrong?
No, you have to have it appraised and surveyed. They won't take your word for it.
When you bought the house, if you financed and you got an appraisal, you will have a measurement in there, and reach out, Tom, and I can help you find it in there fast, and pull
I
it
can
out.
find it because what happened in my neighborhood, the same builder, same model, and then one is like a less square feet than mine. Let's say mine is that they put like a 1,400 square feet. The other house, same model, exactly the same builder, everything the same. So they put 1,300 square feet.
Yeah.
It's the government.
And they are often wrong. I mean, pretty much. I think I've had one time in my last 20 years where the house measured the same as what it was with the county. So, and
Yeah,
I've
it's terrible.
sold, I've sold over, probably 600 homes, guys. It's
And then I have the storage in the backyard, and they say that storage is a 12 by 10. I measure only 10 by 8.
Yeah.
So do we still have to pay for the appraisal like at $400 for the
If they
storage?
do a detached garage or storage unit and it's incorrect, it won't make that huge of a difference likely in what you're paying. But you can go to the county and usually have them correct that. I don't know if you'd need a survey. That's like a case by case basis on that.
And then like 2 years ago, I have a problem. They look at the satellite and they said my house structure changed because I put the paver over the grass, so I don't have to cut the grass, just the paver.
Right.
So, and then I said, this one is not concrete, this one the paver, 4" by 8". So I lift the paver up, I take the picture, I send it to them, and they took it out, the structure change.
That's wild.
And then I bought the pop-up tent from Costco, $219. And they look at the satellite, they said you have a structure in the backyard, but that's a pop-up tent.
Oh my goodness.
That's what we're dealing with.
And then they took it out. You know what I mean? So I found out a lot of data. Their data is incorrect. So, but still, I have to protest it. But the guy, he's corrected. They just look at the satellite. I invite them to come to my house to look at this structure or the pop-up tent. They won't come in.
Nope.
They will not.
Okay, that's all my question is.
Oh, it is such a convoluted system. And I don't know if you've ever gone to, the appraiser's office in a county. It's not a place you really want to hang out. So they have quite a bit they're dealing with, quite a lot of files on their table. So sometimes it's difficult to get them to pay attention. But okay, one more time. Any more questions from someone? And Tom, I'm so glad you got your question in. Okay. Well, then we will wrap that up. Samuel, thank you so much. I will follow up with everyone on here with the link. If you have additional questions, reach out. We're here to help. I know Lauren Cowan's on here as well, and she invited a lot of people. We love helping you with your homes, with anything you need. So please reach out. And Samuel, thanks again for everything. I'm excited to use you, and I will be reporting back to everyone how it goes. So
thanks for having me.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.